Not gonna lie to y'all right now, man. A little hungover doing this intro. You know, it's Ash Wednesday right now. Today is. I know y'all are listening to this on Thursday. But yesterday was Fat Tuesday, Mardi Gras Day. Our celebration. You know, I did a back-to-back with my boy Clutch. And shout out everybody who came out to that back-to-back, man. Showed up on the stream. It was so much fun. I'm glad I got to celebrate a little bit of Mardi Gras this year. I didn't think I was going to do any type of celebration. I thought I was just going to be spending Mardi Gras in the house all year. So really glad I was able to get together with one of my best friends and play some music out. It was good just to DJ again because I fucking miss DJing. But I'm here, man. I'm happy to be here. I know I'm hurting, but dude, I'm happy to be doing this. I'm happy y'all are here listening. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Talks with TVBOO. And we got a great episode this week. But before I introduce my guest, I just got to say, next Tuesday, February the 23rd, I have a new track coming out called Drugs, coming out on Wakan. It's a collaboration with Champa. It's a fucking awesome track, man. Y'all been asking for it for a while. Really happy to finally get that out, dude, so y'all can just quit bugging me about it, honestly. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, man, my guest this week is just another workhorse of a woman, man. I've been honestly loving having these fucking kick-ass chicks coming to the podcast and just make me feel like I got to step my game up, man. My guest, she's been in this scene for a long time. I didn't know much about her, man, but I got to talk to her, found out she's had her hands in a lot of different avenues in the music industry. Somebody who just grinds, man. Not only that, she's a fucking dope person. I didn't know much about her going into this episode, and it's really awesome getting to sit down and, you know, not know anybody and then walk away from it and be like, damn, that's a fucking dope person. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's honestly been one of my favorite things about doing this show is just talking to interesting people who are out there just trying to do their fucking thing. And you know what? I support that fully, dude. I support this person fully, man. I'm glad I got to have a conversation with this person because I feel like I made a friend, honestly. We got into great conversations, got into some uncomfortable ones, not like awkward, but like got into some conversations that, you know, not a lot of people talk about, things that, you know, should be spoken about every now and then in an open format. But without further ado, I'm just going to let the episode play. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Vale.
Come here, girl, is that ass fat? Let me take my tongue and go bang your dirt track. I met a girl and her booty tastes like strawberries. I swear to God, this could be the one that I marry. Hey, hey, and she's so different. I may eat that from behind. I met a girl and her booty tastes like strawberries.
But what's up, man? How you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. I'm doing really well. I felt like I was having like a social date today, which hasn't happened in a long time, you know, just hanging out with friends. So excited to be here.
I will say that is one thing that's been really awesome about doing this podcast during all this is that I have been able to still meet new people and talk to interesting people such as yourself. So that actually has been a nice part of all this, to be honest.
Yeah, well, you're really enjoyable to watch, so I'm sure everyone's grateful for it. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate that. My name's Mitch, by the way. You know, you and I have never actually met each other.
No, it's true. Well, we did meet at Wakan Halloween, but you were extremely in costume as Elvis. So.
Oh yeah, I wasn't taboo. I was the king at that point. I was
exactly. I just remember being like, all right, I should introduce myself. And I was like, I'm going to let him just go because he's like crushing it as Elvis right now. I don't want to mess up this flow he's got. So,
dude, for real, man. It was as simple as that. I know the next day I was with my girlfriend and it was before I put on my costume and I was like, all right, babe. All right, you got to say bye. She's like, what do you mean bye? And I was like, because I'm not Mitch anymore once this costume's on. You're not talking to your boyfriend. You're talking to the king at that point.
I love it. It was Chloe or someone was like, oh yeah, he's changing for a set though. And then like an hour later, you just like run out full costume still. I was like, yes.
I tried to keep it on as long as possible, but it was too cold.
Yeah, it was very cold.
Yeah, but the name's Mitch. What's your name?
My name's Becca.
Hey, Becca. That's a nice name, dude.
Also known as Vale. Yeah.
Vale. See, I was like, my ass will read something, right? And think of like 100 different ways that it's pronounced. Vale, V-I-L. veal. You know what I mean? But
Veal. I've gotten veal quite a lot.
Hey, I get TVBOO all the time too, so it's all good, man.
Yeah, the veal, I'm like, not baby lamb, but close. I'm just plagued with that. Not people not knowing how to spell or pronounce things, so it's okay.
It's all right. At least they don't call you TVBOO, okay?
That's funny.
I mean, people in electronic music tend to get it, but then as soon as I get to like, you know, anybody who's not in electronic music, they're like, oh, TVBOO. And I'm like, no, it's Taboo. Like, oh, like TivBOO. I'm like, no, Taboo. Okay, right on.
Yeah, that goes with a lot of things in our world once you try to get them in the outside world a little bit. Like, you should see me. I've been doing physical therapy, and the music in my PT gym is so bad, and I've had this new idea where I'm like, I'm gonna make them a little Spotify playlist and just spice up their life a little bit.
Hell yeah, man. Do you ever have people like whenever they're not in the electronic scene, they introduce you to other people like, yeah, this is DJ Vale, and you're like, no, it's just Vale. It's just Vale.
Yeah, and they always say the same. It's just this. I don't know. It doesn't matter. To other people, there's one thing: the electronic industry. It's not, you know, divided up into so many different niches that we experience right now. So it's funny to me to see other people try to interpret what we do. I just kind of smile, like, you're never gonna get it. Sorry, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Or maybe you will someday, and that'd be even better.
They're like, what do you make? I make electronic music. They're like, oh, like Steve Aoki. Yeah, sure.
Okay, well, I got a good one for you.
All right, yeah.
Recently, I started a 20-hour contract, you know, because I'm doing what I can to make ends meet right now, and which is a sales contract for a couple months. And I am talking with my boss, and he casually mentions he's kind of into festivals and electronic music, and I was like, oh gosh. And this is when I normally just don't say anything, you know. I don't want any bosses of mine to know what's going on in the what's really going on. And he said, yeah, I love Electric Forest. So as soon as he said that, I was like, okay. And then turns out he was at Wakan Halloween.
Hell yeah.
Not only did he like rage it the whole weekend, but he got COVID there. And yeah, he was like, oh my God, you're Vale? Like, yeah, I could tell he was just like, what? Like, how is this connecting? So that's been really funny to go through. So yeah.
I had something pretty similar happen after that Halloween show. Because I went and got tested as soon as I got home, and I'm at the doctor's office, and you know, we're dressed, you know, kind of wookish. Well, my girlfriend was definitely dressed hella wookish, and the nurse was like, "Yeah, so you know, what are y'all doing testing for?" I was like, "Oh, we're traveling all weekend, you know, at parties and stuff." She was like, yeah, electronic music con, and we're like, yeah. She goes, oh, I love Wakan. Just out of nowhere, I never mentioned it at all. And then I just fucking pulled my mask down, and she goes, "Shut up!"
I love that.
It's crazy, man. It's. I love how much it's growing. You know what I mean? It's beautiful to see, just at nurse's office and at these $20 contracts.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. My roommate and I were talking about last night, like how, you know, we think that our generation, our world, we're gonna rave forever. You know, it's just we're not gonna stop. Like, and I think that as it continues to be more accessible to people of all, you know, different kinds and shapes everywhere across the country, you know, it's just. I don't think it's ever gonna go away. I think it's just going to exponentially expand the awareness and it's just too good of a community that we're in, honestly. So you know, for me, the more the merrier. Like, bring them on. Let's get them in here and you know, mix their brains up a little bit with some bass music.
I'm trying to fuck their brains up, dude. Honestly, I'm trying to like, not like, you know,
okay, yeah,
not like kill their brain cells, but I'm just trying to make them as white trash and goofy as possible.
Yeah, my goal for a long time was like make people leave like really satisfied but confused, because I wanted them to just be like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Like that they're so, you know, so enjoyable that they're just still trying to comprehend it. So
oh, dude, I've been confused my whole life, dude. So like, music helps out, you know what I mean? Dude, so you were talking about little niches and like the subgenres just a second ago. What would you consider your subgenre? Because I try to do that think about that for my shit all the time. But like whenever I listen to your music, it's more of like this, you know, you have like this really dark, like almost deep dub type of Reese like vibe. That's just, it's got like such just darkness to it. Am I correct to kind of say, like, what would you fall like in that deep dub category in many ways? My voice cracked right there. That was hysterical.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I would say that I fall in a couple of those different categories. I'm hard to pin down, but my roots come from, I've been DJing for upwards of 10 years, come from deep dubstep, UK influenced dubstep. That was the first stuff I was rinsing, back in the Renegade days, etc. But I moved to the West Coast and I got a lot of influence from kind of like that West Coast, I almost want to say like trappy, more wonky, if you will. I don't know if you know, with Wormhole Music Group in Oakland, they have a big weekly party. So that was my first booking. Like that was
Wormhole
my
Wednesday,
first
wasn't that?
several years of. Yep. So, yeah. So I kind of mix in like some influences from dubstep. I actually grew up listening to hip hop and rap like a lot. So I do like to have this element of, you're feeling yourself, you're feeling gangster. And I have no reason why, but I do like to keep things like really dark in my music, and it just comes naturally. That's just what happens. But I would say it's also like it's not halftime drum and bass. A lot of the music I produce is in that BPM, but it's still just not halftime drum and bass. It's too Americanized to be drum and bass, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what genre my original productions are. I've been calling them left field. And it's interesting because, like, I'm a newer to producing, and people are like, what genre is that? I'm like, I honestly don't know. It's just, it's what's coming out of me, honestly. So I'm still trying to figure it out. And, as an experienced producer, you probably know better, hey, this is what I'm going for. And you're able to.
I know nothing.
Get your idea. And okay. I mean, for me, I'm like, oh, I want to try something like this. And then I end up like over here. But I love it. I'm loving what's happening over here, so I stay there. So it's a roller coaster, honestly.
See, like I love like that dark vibe so much, and like that whole sound design. And I'll go into a track like, yeah, I'm gonna make something like this, but and end up just writing like this weird song about getting head or something like that. It's like ridiculous shit. Like I can never take it too serious, and when I try, it ends up just being something like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think my music comes a lot like, a lot of influence from just my personality and my life. And I like to have like a feminine energy, but I really like to, I'm very strong-minded and strong-willed. So I think like having heavy music that has this dark feminine energy, that's just kind of like how I am. So, you're a hilarious dude. So it doesn't make it, I love the funny things happening here and there with your sounds. I honestly could not pull that off. So
not with that attitude. Not with that attitude, you can't. Okay.
Exactly. I am a funny person too, but people are always like, "Do you laugh?" Like, because I don't. That's not really how I make art. Is not in a funny way, but
Do you laugh?
Life,
no,
it's really...
I never laugh. I have no joy. No. I've only met one person in my entire life that was like that. It was an old guitar player of mine, and literally he confused the hell out of me. You know what I mean? There would be open beds whenever we'd stay places. He slept on the floor. He was the strangest man I ever met in my life. Alex Felder, if you're out there, are you okay? No,
I love it. He's probably watching this like, damn it.
He's probably not. I don't know where he's at. Like, I'm literally like, there's not a day that goes by where I don't wonder what that man is doing. Because I know what all my other ex-band members are doing, but that one guy is just the strangest man. But he could shred. Motherfucker could shred, though, dude. He could shred.
What did you play in the band?
A drummer. I was a drummer, yeah. Yeah,
nice.
Drummer. But look, we ain't here to talk about me, okay? Let's talk a little bit about you, Becca. All right, So you mentioned that, because I was trying to do some research on you before we got into this conversation, because I mean, I don't know a whole lot about you, but you had just mentioned that you've been DJing for like the last 10 years, and you said then you had moved to the West Coast. Did you start out somewhere in the East Coast? And 10 years ago, you know, I wasn't DJing 10 years ago. Were you on some records? Is that what you started out? And what were you spinning 10 years ago? You know what I mean? Because I know that the genre and music itself has just evolved so much, especially on the electronic side in the last 10 years.
Definitely. Oh my gosh, so much. Well, 10 years ago, exactly, I was just about to graduate college. So I was DJing, honestly, just random, like, pop songs, and not even pop, just whatever was hip at the time, rap, you know, dirty, like, rap cover sets. When I graduated college, I moved to the West Coast, and that's when I really discovered, I went to college in Philadelphia. I'm from the Philadelphia area.
Yeah.
So I packed up. I didn't really know anyone or anything. I just moved to the West Coast. Discovered a few more underground bass music artists. Ill Gates was one of the first ones I discovered. Heyoka, Mr. Rogers, if you know any of these names. So it was this really neuro, psychedelic, squanchy, swampy West Coast feel. Lots of like growls and music you want to be like on dance floor on a really good one, so there was many years of that kind of squishier, I'd say like more psychedelic sound, and then I started running my label. So I run a record label called Street Ritual, and we showcase mostly left field, dubstep, some drum and bass, some psychedelic stuff, occasionally a chill out ambient release here and there. And yeah, that just had me scouring, honestly, the globe, trying to find like these fresh interpretations of bass music all over. And that's kind of what our label came to be known for quite some time. And it's called Street Ritual. So yeah, after a few years, like I said, I was doing just Renegade, fun stuff, Burning Man. I was like stage managing and throwing parties a lot. So I would just kind of jump on casually and DJ in the beginning here and there. And there was a moment where it just clicked where I was like, no, I'm going to do this now. Like on stage. And I played my first show at Wormhole and loved it. And yeah, I honestly, I haven't stopped since then. So I've played in like 10 countries or something like that.
Damn.
Panama, Australia, Costa Rica, Norway, Sweden, Portugal. Like I've been around the globe playing tunes. So for many years, like I said, like when I was in Europe and Australia, they're a little bit more on the psychedelic leaning side or this like 4 on the floor progressive side. So, but I got booked to do like these chill out sets, they would be called. And I would just play like basically anything that wasn't 4 on the floor techno, and people loved it, like I was playing like deep dubstep, and then I'd play like Peekaboo, and then I'd play like Truth, and people would just love it. So because for over there, they don't hear American music a lot anyway, so it worked out. But yeah, then I'd say almost 3 years ago now, I moved back to the Philadelphia area, just honestly to be closer to my family and like shake things up a little bit in my life. And I got totally re-inspired by the scene around here. And yeah, it's really nice to, it's a little more UK based on the East Coast for me, like more influence from drum and bass and halftime and things like that. And of course, dubstep. So yeah, I like to, or never mind, I'll stop there. But yeah, so like I said, I've been around the map. I've been doing this for quite a while. But I do feel like I have reached my final form, and that's very exciting. My old project was called Space Geisha. I played under Space Geisha for many, many years, and a lot of people, know me as Space Geisha when they find out that, I have fans here and there still, because I just transitioned last fall, so not even a year as Vale. But Space Geisha was only a DJ, so I was just rinsing tunes for my label and just DJing. I just realized I skipped over your other question, but I do have a thick binder of CDs that I had labeled literally every track on every CD by hand that I would like carry around and play CDs. And I wasn't very good at the CDJs but it worked. Then when the USBs came into play, that really, I'm sure changed the game. But yeah, so that's kind of the whole little wrap up of it. But when I started producing my own originals for the first time, I had my debut single on my label Street Ritual last April, and then my first EP was with Wakan in October. I really felt a reinvention of where I was at in my project and my art, and having original music for the first time, which is very exciting. So
yeah, and that's gonna be just a whole fucking thing, dude. Writing music, you have such a love-hate relationship with it. You love doing it, but sometimes you sit there and you listen to it forever, and then you're like, this fucking sucks. And then everyone's like, what are you talking about? This is good. I have so many battles with myself on the regular. Like, it's just always a constant. I feel like a lot of production is just battling myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I really do feel like. It's like battling my own. Sometimes I go in. I feel like when I go in with like expectations or like ideas, that's when it's the worst. When I go in there not giving a fuck and just being ridiculous, that's when it works. And then I'm still battling myself. It's always one of those things, man. And so it's
totally.
Yeah, but that's wild, man. I didn't know any of that about you. That you've been around doing this shit for a long time. That's fucking killer, man. Hell yeah. So you've been doing this for a minute. So did you have any type of like, going, just moving West Coast, getting all inspired behind all these people, starting up your own label? Did you have any type of, musical background or music industry type of background, or you just like fucking hopped right in? You're like, you know what? I can do this shit.
Well, I get this question a lot, and I've concluded that I've actually been a musical like curator my whole life. My first time DJing like for fun was in college. And as far as like musical backgrounds, I did play piano until I was like 12 or 13, but I can play like 2 songs now. I'm not, by any means good at it. My brother had a drum kit. I had an older brother, so I spent many of days and nights banging on his drum kit, but couldn't really, I couldn't follow music on the drums. And then I played clarinet for 3 years in middle school, and I think my first year of high school. So, and I did like, that was probably the instrument I took the most seriously. So I do have this, but then I kind of just stopped. I went to high school, I did sports and parties and all the fun things, and then when I got to college, so I played sports. So in high school and in college, I would make all the mixtapes for my teams. I worked with, in high school, our gym teacher to make the playlist for our high school dance. Like, I've always kind of wanted to be in charge of like helping provide the vibes. And I remember in high school, like me and my friends, like, a couple of us had cars, and I'd always try to get everyone to come in my car, because like I just always wanted to be listening to what I wanted to listen to. So it's definitely always been a forefront of my mind. And that's kind of what clicked for me when I got to the West Coast, was like, oh, I've already been doing this for a really long time. I just need to learn how to use this equipment, Yeah. DJing came a lot more naturally, obviously, as than learning how to produce in a DAW or something like that. So, but here and there, I'm finding things from the past help me, mostly just with like the keys and the, notes and things like that. But
and on to like to starting up your own label and stuff. Were you in school for any type of business or anything like that, or were you just like, what, I can figure this out as I go? And how did that kind of unfold?
Yeah, I'm still figuring it out as I go, but
aren't we all?
I had a communications degree from Drexel in Philadelphia. I've always been just like very project oriented and like driven, like just wanting to like go the extra mile and do things. So it doesn't surprise me that I kind of came up with that. So the label was actually started by someone else, and he, you may or may not know this artist. His name's Plantre. He plays the violin. He's been on tour with he's kind of more in the like Spangle world, whatever. Nice. But before he was big and famous, he was one of my good friends, and he actually said, hey, there's this label. They're looking for someone new to run it. They only have 10 releases. So I came on at 10 releases and honestly didn't know what I was doing, but I was like, I'm good at emails. I'm good at sales. I can market. That's what college just taught me, so let's give it a go. And
I like how you put parentheses around college right there. I have to point that out.
well, you know, college does teach you things, of course, but like real world experience, you know, really seals the deal, at least for me.
100%.
So yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of like trial and error. And I would say that those first few years, like I honestly wasn't doing anything properly, like the accounting, like nothing, you know, like it's taken this long. Like I've been running this label so I took over the label in 2011. Yeah. So 10 years. And, you know, I'm just getting accounting systems dialed, but in my defense, we have over 170 release artists at this point. So there is a lot of accounting every quarter. So what I've realized is, and also for a while, our label had a booking agency attached to it. At its biggest point, we had 30 artists and 6 agents, and I was managing all of them. So it was really just kind of like I got thrown in, like I started managing the agency because the person who was doing it wasn't doing it well. Like I wasn't an agency manager. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I just kind of got into it. And honestly, it was mostly accounting. Yeah, I picked the music and that's the fun part of the job. But a lot of the behind the scenes with labels is accounting. It's just so many numbers. So now I use this program Label Engine, and it saves, you know, everything's automated. It saves me so much time. I can
Wait, they got a computer now that can automate your label? That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, so I'd say it's definitely been a learning experience. I'd say like it took many years to turn it into a real business. I'll quote that too. In regards to, you know, like just paying your state taxes and, you know, issuing your 1099s and doing all that really proper stuff. So yeah, that was definitely a huge learning curve, and still is, you know. Yeah. I'm still like seeking help with taxes and all this stuff all the time. So it's definitely it's been hard to run a label. And I think the other part is, you know, and probably anybody who runs a label will tell you this, it's just things change so fast now. Like when I started running this label, there was no Spotify. Think about that. Like now it's like Spotify is life. It's what is the biggest thing for everyone. So over the years, we've had to really like change and adjust with the trends, basically. Yeah.
Hey, as you move away from the mic and when you move closer, it sounds way better every time you get closer to that mic.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm not that pro. Okay.
That's not. I'm just.
No,
saying,
that's good to know.
Yeah. So what? Yeah. What were y'all putting records out whenever there wasn't a Spotify? Like, what was the main platform? Like, what was the go-to thing?
Beatport, Bandcamp, still Amazon, Addict Tech for a long time. Addict Tech is a small curated music distribution platform. It is now called Curated Audio. But yeah, those are the main ones, honestly. Label Engine, which is our distributor, will put our releases through to over 80 stores. So there are like quite literally 80 music distribution stores that I probably know the name for 7 or like 10 of them.
Yeah, and they keep on opening up. Have you seen this this newest one, the Audius? What is it? How do you pronounce it? What is it? Is it Audius?
You know, I
thought it was Adidas for the longest time, dude.
I always say Audius.
Okay, it might be Audius.
But I had a meeting with them and I remember saying it wrong on the phone with them and being like, okay, people must do this all the time, so it's fine.
Dude, I was teaching a freaking class for a school and I was saying the freaking wrong school name for the entire hour and a half I was on while I was teaching the class.
Nobody told you?
Not until after, like, hey, it's actually the Fire. And I'm like, oh, well, shit. All right, word. Oh, wow. I kept on calling it DeFryer. I called it DeFryer for an hour and a half.
Oh, DeFry. That's so funny. Yeah. That's DeFire, man.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. They should tell these things. But yeah, I mean, I've seen that new one coming out, and honestly, they seem like they're looking more out for the artist than most other places. You know what I'm saying? It seems like they really are, but I feel like there's a lot of like there's gonna be a lot of copyright shit they're gonna run into. They're like, oh, you have uncleared remixes? Release them on our website. I'm like, seems like it could give you that or cool.
And the monetization. Yeah, and the monetization of it is just TBD. Like it'll be a bit to see how that shakes out. But they did launch this like crypto coin. I don't know if you heard about that at all, but they actually have their own coin.
That's pretty sick, actually.
And somehow I got some of it when I signed up, or something I did. I got some of it, so I was like, great. I guess I'm somewhat invested in them, or I don't know, but
yeah, I haven't.
Yeah, it's cool. I
have heard a lot of things about it, and so yeah, I mean, any knowledge you have on it, I'm all ears right now.
Oh, well, so it's just smaller right now, which I think is nice for people, because you're not like, you can really go on there and follow your favorite artists and only see awesome shit on your feed. Whereas like nowadays, SoundCloud with the repost networks and the ads, like
it's fucked.
I mean, yeah, I don't use my SoundCloud feed ever anymore.
Me neither.
So I have been, SoundCloud, like that's where I listen to a lot of my music for many, many, many years. So I've been transitioning into like, because I like to listen to mixes like when I work or when I'm like cooking or cleaning or whatever. I do mixes like all the time. So SoundCloud's good for mixes. Audius is really good for mixes. A lot of artists are putting like exclusive tracks up there to try to get people to come on there. So there's a ton of music that's like not available anywhere else, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's just a little bit more in our lane, if you will. Like you're not gonna have as many plays there probably, but your play count is probably going to be better quality, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
Yeah, and honestly, all these fucking uncleared remixes I've been making, I can just put them. I can put my Beyonce remix up there.
Pop them right up there
until the website gets in trouble. I don't know how it all that would work. But I mean, honestly, I was having this conversation with Yeah Me Too, and how fucking cool would it be if like all these uncleared samples or all these uncleared remixes and unofficials and stuff like that. How cool would it be if there was like some type of system in place to where it's like, okay, if I'm gonna sample, say I'm sample like fucking Always Sunny in Philadelphia, some of their quotes. If there's like some type of system to where it's like, hey, here's the royalties split from me using that sample. I don't have to get it cleared because I'm already paying you. Like, how fucking awesome would that be? I feel like music would just be, especially electronic music, because like sampling is so huge, and I just feel like that'd be like the coolest fucking thing ever, man.
Well, that's $1 million idea. So you know about these like publishing rights organizations, the PROs, better known as like ASCAP or BMI.
Yeah.
That's what they're. Well, I guess it's a little different, but you do know what they do. They essentially like scrape the internet for uses of your song.
I thought it was I thought the song was like, for like live, like at festivals and clubs, also like in other places and shit like that. But I'm talking about like for like individual samples. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, like in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a Missy Elliott sample, which is probably in 10 bazillion electronic songs.
Yeah. Cause I mean, I guarantee you most of these artists like that, like are getting sampled, like all these other different old hip hop. Like how many times this fucking, has Biggie Smalls been sampled into electronic music? You know what I mean? Like,
and and you're right, and just never really gotten a cut or anything from it. Like, wow, yeah, it's true. I mean, a lot of samples, as a label, when I'm listening to music, some like demos and stuff, like the amount of samples going into some of these songs is mind blowing to me. We all know as producers, there's like little things you can get away with here and there. And, but it's crazy. I'm like, I respond to so many demos that way. Like, are these your samples? Are these your samples? Cause it's like, no, we automatically can't release it, but you could go put it on Audius.
Yep.
Oh, Audius. I think that's it.
Okay. What were we saying? Adidas? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if there's like a vocal sample or something that I can't use, I'll just recreate it with my voice, and then we're good.
Yeah, that's actually what Notlo and I did with our last EP that we put out on Wakan. Like our sample was it's in the background. You couldn't really hear it, barely hearing it. Really lots of effects, all sorts of automation on it, and we couldn't slide it past Loper, so we ended up she recorded her voice saying all the exact same thing. So I was like, moving forward, I'm just gonna basically do that. Like when I hear a sample I like, just record myself saying the exact same thing, or a friend. But
Yeah, because I don't know if people can like copyright like a certain phrase or like word or sentence or anything like that. I don't know how all that would work, and if that's even possible.
no, but I mean, I do pull a lot of inspiration from samples. Like
Yeah.
if I like my first song, I was watching this like silly show, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. It was beginning a pandemic, you know, just trying to waste time. And I pulled a sample, and it was like, it's really just this spooky kind, almost psychedelic show, and that's exactly how the song came out, you know, with the sample in it. So I just feel like it, you know, it can add to the color of your song a lot. So.
Oh, 100%. It can bring a whole different, like, you know, if I sample the fucking Trailer Park Boys and put it in a song, you're probably going to have a fucking giggle about it. You know what I mean?
Smokes.
Fucking smokes. It's probably one of my favorite shows on the fucking planet, man. I love the shit out of that show.
Oh, it's really good. I've seen it all, but I haven't seen it in quite some time.
Dude, so I do want to bring up something because, you know, I'm all about having some fucking badass women on this show who are just some workhorses, and it sounds like you yourself been doing this shit for a long time, just, you know, in a different way. I mean, you've really trying to switch it up, and I feel like, you know, taking on that production side of it is really starting to take it serious to the next level. But like being this fucking badass fucking workhorse of a woman that you are, right? Has you know, coming into it, was there ever a time where it might have seemed a little bit tougher, or like, or has being a woman in the industry been any type of, I'm trying to figure out the correct way to say to word this, but has it been a little tougher being a woman, or and what are been some like perceptions that you would like to change about how a lot of people think going into it?
Well, it's definitely harder to be a woman in the music industry. I think it's just like less expected, and there's less opportunities to connect to it at a young age, which is really where we miss this. I actually spoke on a panel at Lightning in a Bottle once about this, and that was the main takeaway. Well, it was with like 6 other awesome women, but one of the main things that we took away from it was that like we have to reach women at a younger age and get them interested in technology at a younger age, because I think that technology, whether it be games, music, whatever it is, it's definitely more, you know, thought of in this standardized way of like that being a male, a thing for boys.
Yeah.
So I think that if we can, and when I say if we can, I don't even know who's we, but like if as a whole we can reach women that are younger and show them like, you know, you can do this too, then we will see, you know, a rapid increase in women in the numbers. I actually went to when I played this festival in Panama 2 years ago, it was a 50% female lineup.
Sick.
And it was so interesting being in the green room. It was just girls everywhere. And it wasn't until that moment that I realized how I've never been in this situation where it's been like even men and women performing at a festival. It's always so male heavy. So yeah, it's definitely been hard. I honestly love being like able to show up and, you know, have people underestimate me because of my gender and blow them away. Like, give me that challenge. I will take it. I love that. As a stage manager, like working on stages for many years and in productions, I saw it a lot. Like, you know, people are just trying to be nice most of the time, but
Yeah.
you know, oh honey, do you need help with that back line? Like, no. And I'd always respond, no honey, I'm good, thanks. Like, because I'm just a little saucy. But you know, my mom, my grandmother, like they're both very strong women and, you know, had their own businesses and careers, which back then was even, you know, my grandmother's time, like even less common. So I come definitely from a lineage of strong-minded women. But I also played like sports a lot of my life, and I coached sports for some years when I was like also starting to DJ. I was like coaching little kids and also DJing. And And I found myself being like the only woman in that world a lot too. Like even though I was coaching girls, like it was a lot of male coaches and dads and dad volunteers. So I've just kind of like gotten used to it. Growing up with an older brother, kind of used to it too. But I like when I look at my, different places I've lived and friends I've had and stuff, like I've always been in a slightly more of a tomboy, I'd say, than a girly girl. So, it came naturally, but I did for a long time, for a long time, I like downplayed being a woman a little bit because I didn't want people to think, oh, she's getting this because she's a woman. Right.
That was something. Yeah, that was something I wanted to bring up too. But yeah, continue what you're saying because that's actually a really good point right there. I wanted to expand upon. But yeah, keep
like
rolling.
I don't know. Like if there's a girl on stage and she's just like a woman will be judged 1,000 times more about what she's wearing on stage than any man. Right. It's just a double standard. So when I first started DJing, I would just wear all black and just cover. I was like, I don't want people to see what gender I am even. I just want them to leave and like have a great time. But like the older I've gotten, the more important I feel it is to just represent being a woman because like women who, no matter how you look, you can be good at something. So I just don't want to be taken for face value at anything. And I do think, so what was the second question you asked? It was
kind of like trying to change the narrative about it. And I mean, you're already kind of on that path talking about it anyway. So, but,
change it. Well, there was one other thing I was going to say about it, but, one thing that I will say that I feel strongly about is I just kind of want to normalize women being in these roles more. So when people ask me, like a lot of times, like I'll get asked to play all girl events. And like lots of times I'm not that interested. Like I know the intention is pure. Like the person who's putting on an all female event wants to showcase females. So they're like, hell yeah, let's put them on this pedestal and give them this opportunity. But it's not like anyone's saying it's ever like, hey, we're having an all male event.
That's true.
So I don't think it comes from a place of like bad intentions or anything like that. I just think it is the right intention, but we need to like supersede that and get to this place where it's normal for it to be an all woman lineup, right? Like we don't even have to talk about it. It's just another lineup. Like that's the end goal, right? So I think we have quite a bit of time till we get there. But I think that people just get more taken aback by women playing harder music. It's just less expected.
Yeah.
So I just want to normalize it. That's all, like through sports, through high school, everything. Like I've always just like want to normalize women being good at things. So
no, see,
here I am still trying to do that.
I respect the fuck out of that, and that was actually one of the things that I was really liking whenever I was like looking into like who you are and what you do. And one of the things I do really like about you is like you're and I don't want to word this wrong and make it sound bad because I'm trying to come from really good intentions when I say this, but like I feel like you actually are. You're like, all right, I'm not playing on the fact that I'm an attractive woman. I'm actually gonna play on the fact that I'm just good at what the fuck I do, and I feel like sometimes like other women artists and fuck, I'm trying to word this correctly. I feel like I'm a slippery slope here fucking saying this, but I feel like
no, it's okay. These are important conversations.
These are really
have,
good. I feel like there's sometimes whenever some girls can give other girl artists a bad, I won't say actually a bad like perception or a bad idea, because it's like there are some of and there's not that many. Well, there are some, but there's some like women artists that are like don't give a fuck about the art or like the you know, the work or being good at it. They're like, I'm fucking hot and I'm gonna be getting paid to be up here being hot. And sometimes that can put a bad perception on like the woman DJ. So whenever there's somebody like you who is like, you know, an attractive woman, you're like, you know what, I'm not gonna play on that shit. I'm gonna play on like actually taking the art form and paying homage to that. So that right there is respectable. And I'm also trying to like, you know, that's why I like having people like you on the show where I can normalize that shit too, where it's like, you know, it's not all flashy. It's like it's hard work and anybody can fucking do it if they put that work in, man. And I'm
Totally.
so glad I didn't fuck up saying all that shit.
Oh no, you did awesome. But I mean, it's true, and I think that those people, which like I don't, it's not like I have someone in mind. That happens in all genres, like,
100%
across the board of just.
I'm not calling anybody out specifically.
Yeah, but like in general, when we speak about people who are using their looks that aren't as talented or whatever, like that ultimately shines through to your fans. So, you know, it's like you're only gonna keep having success if you really put out a good product, and you're only gonna have quality fans if you like keep putting out a good product. And I mean, when I say product, I say art, but like, you know, whatever your content is that you're getting to people. And yeah, like I just want to be clear that I just think that any woman, like if she wants to be hot, then like hell yeah, be hot. And
hey, and I'm all about
like,
all about that.
Don't want to be hot, yeah, then like don't be hot. That's fine. But like I don't want like anybody judging either side, right? Like if a girl's on stage being hot, like let her do her thing. If she's on stage, like, you know, like doing whatever, wearing sweatpants, like that's like neither should matter, right?
Yeah,
but I
totally
think that
agree.
It does matter with women more. So
I totally agree.
It's cool. It's good to have these like slightly tough talks, you know?
Yeah, and I've actually been enjoying doing these more serious conversations on the show lately. But no, I totally agree. And when I'm saying that, I'm not saying it because I'm thinking anything differently or I'm judging. And I totally think if you want to do something, you should fucking do it however the hell you want to do it. Who am I to say anything? I'm just saying that might be some of the reasons why some people don't take women as seriously, which isn't the right thing to do. Is
100%.
Is all I'm saying is like there's that stigma sometimes, and then when there's people like you who come in and like you know, really take it serious, I feel like, you know, there needs to be more people like you to try to change that mindset of other people and that stigma that other people may have. And that's really what I was trying to say. And you know, sometimes, you know, I just can't get it out correctly, but I think I did okay on that, to be honest.
Yeah, well, we had to talk through it, but I got a lot of opinions on it, so yeah, thank you for bringing that up. But more so, like, when I'll leave it with, like, when I coached lacrosse most recently was in 2017, and I coached like an 8th grade team. And at the end of the season, I told them all that I was a DJ, and they thought it was like the craziest shit ever. Like, some of them now follow me on my Instagram, which is funny, because they're like in like high school, and they live in California, so they probably like know about Coachella and stuff already, you know. But I just like, I felt a duty to tell them, because I felt like I wanted them to know a woman who was a successful DJ, so that them or their friends someday could think that they could do it too. And it's like, you know, who am I, just one person doing this? There's so many badass women DJs and producers out there. I mean, it's so many of my favorite DJs and producers are women, and it's not because they're women. It's just
they're just badasses. Dude, Closey straight up like one of my top favorite producers of all. Oh, everything she puts out, I'm just so in love with, man. I swear, she's so good.
So we had one of Closey's like first US releases on our label many years ago, about 2016, 2015, and I had her at me and my friend threw a meat barbecue. I think you'd like this.
Hell
concept. Yeah. And we just played we had a function one in our backyard, and we just played meaty beats, and we just only served meat because we felt like there was a lot of like vegetarianism, and we were like these East Coast girls in California, and we're like, we're throwing a meat party, and
we're gonna show all these damn vegans how we do it.
Yeah, exactly. And then Closey came, and then we realized when she came that we didn't have a charcuterie, which is like the French thing. So we like sent our friend to get a charcuterie plate, like cheese and meats. It's like what they do in Yeah, it's like what they do in France. It's like fancy, you know.
Got you.
And we're like, oh my god, we don't have like a meat and cheese plate, and like Chloe's here, so we like sent our friend, and she got us a meat and cheese plate, and then I'll never forget. She's looking at me going, "What is this meat party?" she tried her first Bud Light there too, so you know, that's my claim to fame. I'm always like, well, Colosi had her first Bud Light at my house, so don't worry about it.
That's pretty killer, man. I wonder if she's had Pat's Blue Ribbon yet.
maybe you got her on the show and have her
Hey,
make her drink love to have you on the show. We're gonna need you to drink a Pabst.
Yeah. I met her a couple years ago, and I didn't realize how fucking French she was, but it was pretty cool. She had that. Yeah.
Yeah, she's super French. Yeah, so yeah, I love, like I said, I also love being silly. But Closey's a absolute goat.
Yeah. Dude, so speaking of French, man, I used to watch, the movie Malibu's Most Wanted? I used to watch that movie because my stepdad's French, man. I used to watch that movie in French so I could cuss at my stepdad without my mom knowing whenever I was younger. So the only couple words I know in French are just cuss words, just from Malibu's Most Wanted.
All right, let me get one of them. I need one from.
I think the only one that stuck with me was salop, and that means bitch in French. So I used to call salop. I used to call my stepdad a salop all the time. My mom had no idea, and he would just look at me like, "You little motherfucker."
I know, especially with our like butchered American accents too. It's so funny.
Oh, every time I do a foreign language, I sound even more Southern, dude. Like, hola, me llama Mitch. It's just like ridiculous.
That's funny.
Yeah,
that's cool. I studied Spanish in college. I actually speak very fluent Spanish, but French, no, thank you. I think "we" is the only thing I know how to say.
All right, so you can speak a little bit of Spanish. So
Sí, un poquito.
Okay, so I don't know what that is. So what I'm gonna let's see. I'm gonna test you real quick on your knowledge.
Oh,
all right.
goodness. Okay.
So say hello, my name is Vale, and you are listening to Talks with Taboo out every Thursday.
Okay. Hola, me llamo Vel y estás escuchando a Toques con Taboo. Cada Thursday. I think
Thursday.
It's
Suegues.
Thursday. El Thursday.
El Thursday. Dude, honestly, that's what I'm going to use as like the trailer for the show, and people are just going to come to the show and think that you're Spanish. Like, oh, I had no idea Vale was Latino.
Why is she so bad at talking Spanish, though?
Like, did you know Vale was a Latino? And
I love it. Oh, man, that's hilarious.
I think I'm joking.
No, that's some serious clickbait. Do it.
That's killer, dude. So with with Vale being a new thing, and then getting ready to really start it up and take it serious, and then COVID coming out. What have you been doing now? Like, what's been like? Obviously, the focus has been on music, but what's been the focus on to like keep the lights on and shit like that? What have you been doing?
Well, I'm just like taking the time to hone in things I've been not having the time to do in years, which is like just, organize systems, like redo your whole record box. Like I actually just built a PC. Speaking about things that women don't normally do. I wish you could see it. It's right here.
I got me a badass PC too, bro. I built that bitch. Yeah, I built that bitch during COVID. Yeah.
Hell yeah. So I just finished building my PC. It's been a couple month process, and I'm almost done. But so that's been taking up a lot of time, and it's been very exciting because now, as you know, I have no limitations on my processing power. So I'm like, let's go. Prior, I've been producing on this like old laptop that, took 15 minutes to like even open Ableton. So the amount of like work I'm getting done just simply by having good processing power is insane. But yeah, I also have plans to launch a little Twitch show. I have been doing streaming here and there. My partner, he goes by Saltis. I don't know if you know Truth and like the Deep Dark Dangerous label, but he runs all the live streams for them. He's Truth's manager. So he's actually been on the Twitch tip like way before the pandemic and the quarantine. So he kind of got me into it, and I actually did my first like DJ stream in January, like prior to the pandemic, like just for fun, because I thought, okay, I probably have fans all over, like let me do a stream, and it was really fun. And then like next month you're like the music gods are like, no, this is your life now. You play DJ sets in your bedroom. And we're streaming all the time. So I felt like I had a nice little like up on it. But I've done tons of like sets that I'm streaming, but I actually now have the processing power to stream, Ableton or Record Box or video games, which I play a shit ton of.
What you play? What you play?
So me and Mize going hard in WoW Classic right now.
Hell yeah. I guess I could take him as a WoW guy. Yeah.
He's like probably gonna text me like, don't blow my spot. No. But yeah, we're doing WoW Classic, and I play Magic the Gathering a lot. That's really it. Like I'm just starting to get into some more of the like new age 2021 video games. Like I want to get Cyberpunk. It's on my top to-do list. What's the I wish I knew. Star Citizen is this crazy game. You have to Google it. My boyfriend just downloaded it, but it's a completely persistent universe, which means like it's basically like VR but on your computer. And there's no loading screens, there's no instructions. You just like dropped into this world and you have to like figure it out, and it's like in space, so it's even crazier. And it's crazy. Definitely Google it, but it's called Star Citizen. So I was thinking about so with the Twitch show, I want to do like some I did one Twitch show in the beginning of quarantine that was like building a DJ set, so I might do like another one like that, like just little things that if I'm building a DJ set, maybe I'll go live and help some people with some tips. I don't think I'm really like good enough at Ableton to be like streaming it. Like people watch me just like clunk through things for a while. Like maybe once a song is like mostly done, then I can do that. So some production,
I've had some people,
maybe a guest or two.
Yeah, I've had some people hit me up like asking me to do like production streams, and I'm like, hell no, dude, I gotta focus when I'm in that bitch. If I'm sitting there like worrying about what the chat's saying while I'm working on music, I feel like it's not gonna be my best work, and then I'm just gonna look like a chump. Like I have to be focused.
It's just it's a different thing. Like my my boyfriend did one, and he did it really well. Like you make a beat for the stream. So it's like you're kind of like he does it more of like a teaching way, which I really like. So it's like people then can like learn, and then like maybe you take that beat somewhere. But I'm definitely with you. Like I'm doing a lot of my producing late night too, and like I just don't think people want to be like, oh bro, I'm such an early bird interacting with internet people at 3 a.m. Like, so we'll see. I don't know. I'm interested to see, like, because I do have quite a bit of followers on Twitch and a good community on there already, but I haven't done any gaming on there yet. So we'll see how everyone's feeling about that soon.
Right on. Yeah, what you and your boyfriend did for Valentine's Day?
Great question. Well, we had heart-shaped pancakes, which was amazing.
Nice.
And he's we had a really nice brunch the day before. We went the day before because V-Day and like is crazy, and with capacities at restaurants and stuff.
Wait, hold on. Have you been to a restaurant where they're actually only doing 50% capacity?
Yeah.
Okay, because I have not seen a single restaurant go through with that shit. Honestly, if I had a restaurant, I'd be like, yeah, come on in, fuck that shit. Like,
yeah, no, this place, like around where we are in Boston, they've been pretty strict with it. And we actually had our own pod. Like we were in this but it was glass. So we were like in this glass pod. But yeah, we had, he had a big bloody. I had mimosas. It was great. It was like the first time I had been at a restaurant in a long time. Because in Boston, we were doing there's 7 inches of snow right out my window. It's supposed to snow all week.
Dude,
so
there's some weird
summer,
shit.
We were eating outside a lot. And now we've just I haven't been out to eat at all because you can't fucking eat outside now, you know?
Yeah, dude, there's some weird shit going on in the South right now. Like Texas has got snow. Dude, I had to leave my sink running last night. Like, what the hell is going on? You know what I mean? Like, we had to leave a drip. I'm like, leave a drip? The hell y'all speaking of? You know what I mean? We have a chance of fucking snow here. It probably ain't gonna happen, but it's just like, what in the actual fuck is going on? Is the ice age coming? This don't happen. This don't happen here. You know, something's
It's
world's
weird.
changing.
Our friends moved to Texas from Boston, and they were like, "Oh, we're escaping Boston winter." They moved like December 1st, and they've been like, "It's snowed 3 times in Texas since we got here. Like, what's going on?"
Dude,
like,
it's snowing back home.
Cold here.
It's snowing right now back home in Mississippi, dude. And it's funny, man, because it's like whenever we had anything remotely close to that, even right now in Louisiana, I have some buddies who are off work. Like, they're like getting ready to shut down roads because it's going to get below freezing. They don't know how to act here with that shit, dude. It's hilarious. It's like, oh my God, it's gonna ice. I went to the store this morning to go get eggs, and there's people fucking panic buying, like fucking just for real. They're like, it's only gonna be like that for a day, and they're fucking freaking out down here, man. It's fucking wild.
Your houses and stuff like probably aren't built for that either. Like, I was just thinking, like, I've never had to let my faucet drip, but like we probably have like winter pipes, whereas like in the South, like you're not expecting snow, so you don't get winter pipes. So.
Yeah, dude, and we had to put a fucking big ass blanket around the outhouse. Like, we can't have our outhouse freezing.
How are you gonna shit in the cold? Man, that sounds bad.
Dude, I love fucking with people who ain't from the South. Honestly, I had this guy convinced in Atlanta one time that we didn't have roads back in Mississippi. It was the greatest thing, dude. It was at Counterpoint Fest. I think it was Counterpoint, and I had this guy completely convinced that we ain't got roads back in Mississippi. And I'm like, he's like, dude, how do you like it here being from Mississippi? And I was playing on it hard. I was like, man, it's fucking crazy here, dude. There's like roads everywhere you go, man. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, man, roads, like concrete. He's like, you only got them back there? I'm like, hell no, man. I ain't seen a road in about 9 years. And he believed me, man. He believed me. This was some random guy. He didn't know I was taboo, and I was just fucking. I love fucking with people about that shit so hard.
You're like, not even the airports have roads.
Airport? What is that? Like the Air Force base? Air Force, you mean?
Oh man, he probably told so many people about that too. That's hilarious.
Probably, and then he probably looked into it and realized he's an idiot. I don't know.
Yeah, and then later was like, hey, that's the guy that's never seen a road.
That's the best, man.
I love it. Well, hopefully we'll be talking shit backstage somewhere soon, man.
I think so. When do you think it's coming back? I think it's right around the corner.
I actually have a real life booking on March 20th in Denver.
Yeah.
At Cervantes, social distance. It's like 40-person capacity, tables only. I think we'll see a lot of improvised or restricted events from now until like spring. And then I think in the spring, summer, we're going to see a lot more like, I think there'll be a lot of events. I think they'll still be restricted and feel different. I don't think we'll feel like back to 100% normal until next summer, but I do think we will be like raging festivals this summer. So
I'm fucking optimistic, dude. I'm saying we're having full shows back this April.
Okay, I love it.
That's where I'm at.
I love it.
That's where I'm
I'll
at.
subscribe to that plan.
G-Space had said something really interesting on the podcast last week, and he said it's not a matter of when their show's going to come back, it's a matter of when our show's going to be accepted. And and I thought that was fucking crazy because in some places shows already are back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
And it's like those people, those shows, and those artists, and those people attending are getting called like morons and stuff like that. But that's just like what it is in their hometown, or like in Florida or Texas. That's just how it is there. And you know what I mean?
It's just different for everyone.
Yeah. And so it's just like, when are those people calling those people morons going to accept that that's happening there? And then if that's accepted, then when's it going to start flowing back again?
I think that there's going to be a consistent feeling of just those people who, no matter what we do, are feeling like it's too soon. But, I had an aha moment when I was watching the Super Bowl, and I was like, all these guys are living their dreams.
Right. I was like, the Super Bowl's happening. Why can't shows happen? That's like actually a strong point.
Like everybody else is like moving forward, like restaurants are open, like the music industry has to try to do the same.
Yeah.
We've been hit arguably one of, as far as industries going from 100 to 0, like the music industry was the top of the list for that for coronavirus. So maybe besides Corona, but
Yeah. I haven't drank Corona a single time, dude, for real. Fuck
No,
that shit.
I actually like know someone who worked for them, and she said that they took an entire year off marketing. That they were just going to be like, we're not going to just do anything for a year. We're going to
Damn.
hope people forget.
Well, that's why Pat's Blue Ribbon is so cheap. When's the last time you've seen a Pat's Blue Ribbon billboard, a commercial? You ain't seen them. That's why the beer's so cheap, and that's why it's so tasty. And it's still got integrity. Like, you still taste the integrity in the can.
Oh yeah, I love that, the integrity.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, hopefully we can drink a Pabst in April. I love that plan.
Yeah.
I'll stick to it on my end, honestly.
April it is then, dude. Well, look, Becca, man, it's been really awesome getting to, get to know you, having serious conversations, joking around, and all that great stuff, man. It's been really great having you on the show. I really enjoyed this episode. I didn't know what to expect just because I didn't, know you or anything like that. But it's been really great getting to know you, and I can't wait to have a beer in April, hopefully.
I totally agree, Mitch. Hell yeah, this was super fun, and yeah, great experience. I appreciate it. You're awesome.
I appreciate it. What you got coming up next though for the people? What's next for you? What you got coming up?
Ironically, I'm gonna drop a mix on Audius only.
Nice.
Just a quick little banger mix. And yeah, this spring some more tunes dropping. So
Hell yeah.
yeah, and you got something. What is it? This week?
Next week.
Next week. Cool.
Yep. Drugs.
That's right. I was like, wait, it's on the tip of my tongue.
We got drugs next week. Who wants some drugs? All right.
I love it. I do. Let's go.
All right, Becca. Well, look, it's been great, man. I appreciate you. I really do, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, likewise, Mitch. Thanks again.
That's Miss Vale, everybody. What a fucking cool gal, man. I loved that episode. I loved it. I loved that whole conversation. She was so cool, not shy. She could talk. I like people who can talk, dude, because I can fucking talk myself. But anyway, that's going to be it, man. Y'all make sure to go check her out. She had we were talking about her new EP that dropped a couple weeks ago. Go check that out. And go check out Drugs when it drops next week. And I'll make sure to remind y'all again for next week for sure. But anyway, I hope y'all have a good week, man. Be safe out there. Have fun out there. Be happy out there. I love y'all. Later.